In 1999, Mercedes' new Le Mans prototype car, named the CLR, famously decided to take up aerobatics, ending up airborne on 3 separate occasions at the famous track in Sarthe, France. Today we're exploring the story of the infamous CLR, and we'll discover how exactly it all went so badly wrong. Our story begins in 1996. The Deutsche Tourenwagen-Meisterschaft had just been canned following the exit of Opel and Alfa Romeo on the grounds of cost, and suddenly Mercedes no longer had a premier racing series to compete in. As luck would have it, 1996 was also the year that the FIA took control of the wildly successful BPR Global GT Series, renovating it and rebranding it as the FIA GT World Championship. This, Mercedes thought, was an opportunity. Hungry to get back on the track in 1997 and keen to compete against competitors from far and wide, AMG was tasked with creating a race car for the Le Mans GT1 class to race in the first year of the new championship. This car would be known as the CLK GTR. GT1 was a homologated class, which means that all cars competing in it were required to be based on road cars, resulting in the famous CLK GTR road car, as well as a handful of other ridiculous monsters, including the Porsche 911 GT1 Strassen version and the Nissan R390 GT1 road car. The designers set about creating a formidable track monster. A fully carbon fibre body was draped over a carbon fibre and aluminium honeycomb chassis, and a monstrous 6-litre V12 engine. Even with a token attempt to give the exterior some familiar Mercedes features, the CLK GTR was certainly not your average supercar. Apparently, during the development of the car, Mercedes was able to acquire a retired McLaren F1 GTR race car, which had been used to set benchmark laps and test theories about aero parts, meaning most of the car's aero had been extensively tested before a single car had been built yet. AMG's efforts paid dividends in 1997. Debuting close to home at the 1997 Hockenheimring 4-hour race, the CLK GTR didn't immediately deliver on Mercedes' hopes, with one of their 2 cars suffering a brake failure and the other finishing a whopping 20 laps behind the winning McLaren. However, the tables turned quickly for Mercedes, and soon the CLK GTR was dominating the series, eventually winning both the Drivers' and Teams' Championships in the 1997 FIA GT Championship. Naturally, following their success in GT racing, Mercedes set its sights on 1998, and this time they were going to compete at Le Mans, for the first time since 1991. This required a rethink of the CLK GTR's design, resulting in a number of exterior modifications, but also saw the replacement of the engine, ditching the 6-litre V12 for a 5-litre V8 instead, with the hopes that it would be more likely to survive the punishment of running for 24 hours straight. This modified car was named the CLK LM. The cars proved quick around the Le Mans circuit, taking pole position in qualifying, but the team's measures to make the car more reliable proved fruitless, as on race day both of the CLK GTRs being ran suffered engine failure and failed to finish the race. Not wanting the new car to go to waste, however, they raced a CLK LM alongside the CLK GTR from the previous year to take yet another Drivers' and Teams Championship in the FIA GT Championship. But Mercedes wasn't done with Le Mans just yet. In September of 1998, work began on development of a replacement for the CLK LM. Mercedes wasn't going to compete in GT1 in 1999, rather the brand new LM GTP class, which being a prototype class didn't require homologation road cars to be built. This new car would be called the CLR. The CLR was a continuation of the work that had been done on the CLK LM, but taken to the extreme. It was powered by a modified version of the same V8 engine, now bored out to 5.7 litres. There's no doubt that fingers were crossed that these ones didn't blow up. In addition to not having to worry about the road legality or driver comforts, the ACO's new LM GTP class also saw a reduced minimum weight when compared to the old GT1 class, with cars now having a minimum weight of 900 kilograms as opposed to the previous year's 950. With these change in rules, Mercedes would be up against stiffer competition than they had been before. With their move into the LM GTP class, Toyota's GT1 was looking strong, and competition from open cockpit LMP class cars was also worrying Mercedes. Having won the FIA GT Championship the previous year, Mercedes was guaranteed a single spot in the 24 Hours of Le Mans, which was assigned to the number 4 car, driven by Jean-Marc Gounon, Marcel Timon and Mark Webber, whereas the number 5 car, driven by Christophe Bouchou and Nick Heidfeld, and the number 6 car, driven by Frank Lagorce, Bernd Schneider and Pedro Lamy, would have to earn their spots. Mercedes chose to still run the number 4 car in practice and qualifying sessions for the sake of testing. During pre-qualifying, the Toyota GT1 led the pack, setting the fastest lap, followed by Panoz and BMW, with Mercedes trailing behind in 6th, 14th and 15th place. After the first day of qualifying, the CLRs were placed 5th, 6th and 8th on the provisional grid, but the second day would prove to be the first of many unfortunate events for Mercedes. The number 4 car, being driven by Mark Webber at the time, moved to overtake an Audi R8R heading towards the Indianapolis complex, at which point the front of the car lifted up, flipping the car into a somersault before crashing back into the tarmac on its right-hand side, before rotating back onto its wheels and continuing to stop in the Armco barrier. Webber was treated in a nearby hospital for neck and back pain, but would ultimately be cleared to continue racing. On the morning of the race, a half-an-hour warm-up session was taking place in which car number 4, again being driven by Mark Webber, was following a Team Oreca Dodge Viper GTS. Upon coming over a crest on the run down towards Mulsanne Corner, the CLR once again became airborne, sending Webber powerlessly pirouetting through the air for a second time in only a few short days. The car once again came down on the track, and though like the first incident this was not caught on film, the aftermath was captured by TV cameras, and the most famous photos of the CLR in the air come courtesy of this accident. Webber was unharmed. As the race was just a few hours from starting, Mercedes withdrew car number 4, not that they had too much choice in the matter, and they chose to make last-minute modifications to their 2 remaining cars in the hopes of increasing downforce at the front of the car. In addition, the drivers were advised not to follow other cars too closely. Nice work, Mark. In the actual race, the competition became clear early on. The top 6 spots were swapping and changing between the 2 Toyota GT1s, 2 BMW V12 LMRs, and the 2 Mercedes CLRs. Lap 76 saw an intense battle between the number 5 CLR driven by Peter Dumbreck and Thierry Bouston in a Toyota GT1. On the run from Mulsanne Corner to Indianapolis, the same place where Webber's qualifying accident had taken place, the CLR became unsettled due to apex curbing. The front wheels lifted yet again, this time caught on camera as the car reaches 15 meters into the air and rotates 3 times, before disappearing over the safety barriers and behind the trees. The car impacted an area of woods that had been cleared only 2 weeks prior, and thankfully was inaccessible to spectators. Dumbreck was knocked unconscious by the accident, but came round and was able to climb out of the car. Mercedes immediately retired the remaining CLR, never to be seen in Sarthe again. The following day, BMW won the event with the remarkable V12 LMR. You can learn all about that incredible underdog story here. Thanks for watching, and until next time, goodbye.